My name's Aaron. Welcome back to my channel. How are you? I'm fantastic and I'm doing really well. And today I am reviewing Oud Wood Eau de Parfum against Oud Wood Parfum. We're going to see what the differences are. So I'm going to read a bit of the marketing of each and the price, and then we'll go from there. So this is for the Tom Ford Private Blend Oud Wood Eau de Parfum, which is £220 for 50ml. The price is kind of all over the place. Top notes: rosewood, cardamom, Chinese pepper. Hot notes: oud, sandalwood, vetiver. The base notes are vanilla and amber. And then of the parfum, it's £330 for 50ml. Natural essence of cardamom and patchouli, vanilla, tonka bean, woods, glowing amber resins. So one is $330 for 50ml and one is $220. So there is a £110 difference between the both. Very interested to do this, very curious. Do we have our bottles of Oud Wood Eau de Parfum and Oud Wood Parfum? Are we engaged with the high self? Let's get testing. So I do love this fragrance. I think it's masterfully created. I think it's beautiful. So I love the way you have smoothness and freshness combined with sort of soft wood facets. I wouldn't say they were harsh wood facets, but I think the way it was handled was, excelente. So I'm going to remind myself of the Oud Wood Parfum, and then I'm going to apply the Eau de Parfum. So this is a 110 difference in it. So we're going to apply 2 sprays each and we're going to see. So I'm going to remind myself, go through the notes quickly of the Eau de Parfum. From what I remember, and I know all these things start out like urban myths, it used to be stronger. I used to buy this and wear it years ago before I had my own stuff. And I always remember being slightly stronger. And as I've said, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's what I was told, that the Oud Wood Parfum was the original formula, and then subsequent reformulations was this sort of formula, which I think is really sad. It smells quite weak, actually. I just really love the formula. I think the perfumer that created this really knew what they were doing and did an excellent job. This sits upon Ice with Super, Ethylene Bracelet, Top Note Musks, Lily of the Valley raw materials, 2 forms within this. More of a brighter Lily of the Valley raw material and a Lily of the Valley raw material to smooth. Nitromus, like Muscon or Muscanone, helping to give further sort of smoothness and sensuality. A little bit of ambroxan, Cephales, and Cashmarin. This is a dryness to it, which I really like. A dry sort of sweetness to it, and that is patchouli-like raw materials. Light, bright, airy. Working with the Lily of the Valley raw materials, Hedione and High Cis Hedione. I think there's another version of Hedione, which is super cis. High Cis Hedione is 70% the cis version and 30% of the trans version. And then Super, it's called a name, firmly, I cannot remember because I'm not spending that amount of money personally. I think it's 99 or 99.5% of the cis variant. I can smell the High Cis Hedione more than Hedione actually. I'm sort of swapping over pretty much everything over to High Cis Hedione. It's massively more expensive than Hedione. That is the side note. So this is this formula. Smooth, sweet, slightly smoky, just sort of really beautiful. I just think really classic, but not giving me, for that amount of money, the radiance I want. If you're going for a lighter version, you can add much more radiance to it, and that can be done through adding raw materials that work to give you that sort of radiance within the formula, or restructure it slightly so you reduce the ISO Super and increase the Lily of the Valley raw materials, the linalool compounds, the Cashmere and all of that, or increasing the ISO Super and decreasing the formulas and adding more naturals. That's kind of the 2 ways to sort of do it, you see. But this, I love it. I really love it. I don't know what's not to love, to be honest. I think it's really just beautiful, great perfumery onto the parfum. I do love this. I do love it. I love the smoothness. It's that smoothness that I really love. There's something so sensual and there's something so beautiful about the smoothness that is coming from the lily of the valley raw materials and the muscanone backed upon ethylene bracelet and ice super. Just very beautiful. The difference isn't that much. The Parfum is sort of slightly more crunched together, the formula, producing to give you more of a dense formula. And the Eau de Parfum is slightly more extended, each raw material slightly more extended. And with the addition, I'm going to call it a top note lily of the valley raw materials, because in my mind, when I work with this raw material, I think about it working on the top of the formula, adding to the top notes. That's how I think of it. And then I think of other lily of the valley raw materials working through the middle and the base of the formula, smoothing and adding depth. The top note lily of the valley raw materials combined with the top note musk and linalool are giving much more lift and giving much more sort of freshness. Whereas we're taking out the top note lily of the valley raw material and condensing slightly, you're getting much more of a condensed formula. It's quite a difficult one because the price is up there, I think. I think this is a factor in the review as well. £330, I think, is an astronomical amount of money. When you're kind of cardamom, you can get the CO2 fractions, which are generally much, much more expensive. The CO2 fractions are sort of double the price. But in this formula, the marketing is not saying this is getting oud from Burma, that was this, or oud from Laos, or oud from here or there, or we're not getting that. We're just being told oud. And we're not being told about fractions. We're not being told about anything, in my opinion, but as I buy raw materials for a living and I construct perfume for a living, it's my job. The price is out there, and I think all the prices of late, since that peach, what's it called? I can't remember, that peach fragrance. Since that, the prices have been just, I think, astronomical for 50ml. You're not getting, I'm going to go on about it, and I really don't care at this point. We need to do better. We need to stop utilizing plastic. We need to use, different raw materials. And I feel it's disappointing that for a £330 formula, there's not much difference in it. How I'm going to suggest wearing it, if kind of money is no object, and you know exactly what I'm going to say, and I'm going to do it for you now, is I'm going to apply the Oud Wood Parfum, and I'm going to allow it to dry slightly, and then I'm going to apply the same amount of the Eau de Parfum. Because the two are going to balance each other out, you see. So whereas in the Eau de Parfum, you've got much more lift to the formula, but the longevity is not particularly great. But in the Parfum, you've got this great longevity. I can smell it now, you see. You've got this great longevity, but not much sort of radiance to it. Probably on your skin, it may be a little bit different. Now I'm getting what I want for a £330 fragrance, which is that radiance, that longevity, that story, that sort of smoothness, that sensuality. This is what I want for a £330 fragrance. If, and I'm going to say it again, if Tom Ford or Estee Lauder were verifying the oud, verifying the concentration of the oud from an independent laboratory, that's so important, because if there isn't an independent laboratory, you can doctor the results. I'm not saying that's what happens out there, but I kind of, that makes sense. It needs to be independently verified. That's what happens within food. That's what happens within sports nutrition. We really need to stop upholding these fragrance companies to do this. Because otherwise, you're paying £330 for, marketing, which is, all right, whatever. This is giving me what I want for the £330 fragrance. And I wish this had been the Parfum, because I'm getting radiance, longevity, smoothness, softness, sensuality. I think the formula is great. I love the formula. I love the cardamom. I love the use of patchouli. I love the structure of it. I love the way it smells simplistic, but it's not. I personally love fragrances that smell simplistic, that are, if they're great, that are the same from the start to the end. And sometimes that's really beautiful. That's sometimes all you want. That's how I would wear it, you see, because you're getting the best of both worlds. But kind of the Eau de Parfum is lacking in longevity, and kind of it's quite fleeting. And it smells quite weak as well. That's the thing I've noticed. it's pretty much gone. I haven't got the best skin for fragrance, but it's kind of gone. And the Parfum, on the other hand, is giving you sort of longevity, smoothness, but with sort of like not particular levels of projection, sillage. There are ways to fix this, as I've said. At some point, I may do it because kind of like, why not? I love this fragrance and I could fix that. So we love that review. Thumbs up and subscribe for fascinating, interesting content. Lots of moving hands and lots of fragrance views. Hope staying safe and well. See you soon.